This video is to tell you a little bit about the framework and the structure for the journal clubs and the critical appraisal CER framework papers. So we're going to talk about what that framework is, how the journal clubs are going to work, and then I'm going to give you some other resources and tools for critical appraisal that are also posted on OWL. So the CER framework is called Claim, Evidence, and Reasoning, and you're going to write a paper that is a critical appraisal of the study that you've been identified to present in the one journal club that you're presenting in. So in that paper, you'll be asked to identify 3 claims that are related to that article. And that basically is one claim related to a strength of the study, one claim related to a methodological issue or weakness of the study, and then the final claim you can choose whether it's a strong study, you can use another strength, or if it's a weak study, you can highlight another issue or weakness. And for each claim, you're then going to provide evidence and reasoning to support that claim and link it to the rules that were learned in the modules regarding that particular study design or basic fundamental constructs of internal validity and external validity. You're then going to write one paragraph that's going to discuss the clinical implications of the study in the context of your critical appraisal, and that should be about your future practice and to the field of your rehabilitation practice in general. So if you're a PT, you're going to talk about PT practice in general. If you're an audiologist, you're going to talk about audiology practice in general. And then in terms of guidelines for that paper, it's 1 page only, single-spaced, and you have to use at least 11-point font or larger. And that's going to be submitted to OWL on the day of your journal club in the assignment corresponding to your journal club room. So let's dig into that framework a little bit different. So a claim is a statement that shows your critical appraisal about a specific aspect of the study design or the conduct of the study. So it's a 1-sentence statement or argument. It's a definitive argument that is about the study design or conduct, and it either identifies a strength or a weakness, as we previously mentioned, that is related to internal or external validity, and make that explicit. There's going to be examples posted that are good and bad and what's missing about them on the OWL site as well. And then the next state is the evidence. So this is actually data from the article that you're going to use to support your claim. Your evidence should be sufficient, so make sure you use enough evidence to support the claim that you've made. And then it has to be appropriate to support your claim. So it actually has to show that it is linked to your claim about internal or external validity. And then if you see something that goes against that, that's okay. Leave that out. You're not here to present both sides of the fence. You are here to give a claim and support that claim. And then the last part is reasoning, which is the kind of the how or the why that ties the claim and the evidence together. So you need to provide justification why this evidence supports your claim that you made. And that's going to use the ability to kind of use your scientific principles that you learned in those modules to make that claim and evidence link together. So you're going to start by looking in the paper for specific evidence. And then think about what the rules you are or the reasoning that you learned about, the explicit rules or design elements of that study design type, and think about how you can take those 2 things and link them together in order to support your claim or to make your claim. So you may not want to start with the claim, even though that's going to be the first thing that you present in the paper. You want to go to the data first and figure out, well, what is it about the study that's a strength and that's a weakness? And why is it a strength or weakness? And that's the reasoning. So linking it back to the tools or to the module components that you learned, and then articulate that in a very concrete argument about what affects internal or external validity and why. Okay, so then moving on to the journal club. So each person is going to facilitate a journal club with a group of 6 of their peers. So each week you attend one journal club on either the Wednesday or the Thursday, either from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. or 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And all of that information is found on OWL. And that in that 1 hour, 3 people from your group will present one paper. So each person has 20 minutes to facilitate and present their article and a discussion around that article. So of your 20 minutes, you're going to spend no more than 5 minutes on a summary. So you're going to include what they did, what they found, and why it's important in that 5 minutes. But remember that everyone will have read the article that you're presenting in your group. So you don't need to go into the minutia. It's just a nice highlighted point of the things that you found important. Then the next 15 minutes, you're going to facilitate a discussion. So you're going to pose questions to the group about your own thoughts and insights about what you thought were strengths and weaknesses, fatal flaws and non-fatal flaws, or potential implications, solutions, or next steps to enhance the quality and rigor or the clinical usefulness of that paper. You want to think about the strengths and weaknesses of the question, the population, the methods, statistics, the results, the conclusions, limitations, all of those things. Have a focused conversation about the clinical implications, because that's going to be important for you to think about how you would articulate that from your discipline, but also if it might affect one of the other disciplines that's in this journal club with you. And then reflect on what others are contributing and adjust your conversation and the topics to think about how are you going to get a really wholesome or rich discussion of the article. So if you are not the person presenting an article, you're expected to have read the article that other people are presenting and participate in that discussion. So even if you are presenting your own article, you're still expected to read the other 2 articles that are being presented in that session and participate in those facilitated discussions. So you'll read 3 articles for every single journal club that you're a part of. And you'll be 2. So in total, you'll read 6 articles. The presenters who are actually facilitating that journal club, the conversation, will then rate your preparation and your participation in the journal club out of 5 using a Qualtrics survey. So those of you who are presenting, you want to look at your peers that were supposed to participate in that journal club session with you and make sure that you're being honest about how well they were prepared and participated in your journal club facilitation, because how well you do really depends on whether or not they engaged in the discussion and whether they were prepared to engage in the discussion. So how do you run a journal club? Well, there are some templates. So there's a great template here that's been adapted by the APTA neurological section, so the American Physiotherapy Association. They have a kind of an outline of how you can organize your thoughts. So please use that. Go to the examples of the CER paragraphs, and that's one way that you can start to think about how you can articulate your points. Remember, there are going to be good and bad examples. And then Best Bets is just kind of another resource there that has medical best evidence topics. So they have critical appraisals and they have summaries. So that's another way you can look at how other people have structured and shared this type of information related to a number of different diagnoses or conditions or specific areas. There are also tools and checklists available on the Critical Skills Appraisal Program. So the CASP there, you can go to that website and check out those. And we've highlighted a few of those at the end of each module for the ones that are relevant to the specific modules. And then there's another evidence-based medicine toolkit on the University of Alberta website, and so that's linked there as well. These are all optional tools for you to think about how you actually can facilitate the critical appraisal of your own article and how you can think about doing it for the other articles you're reading as well.